Say the name.
Welcome back, Double Teamed fam. How are we doing today? If you've been an OG listener and you've been here from like the very beginning, then you'll recognize who is with us today. One of our favorite astrologers. I love her Twitter posts and I follow them like every single time you post a weekly forecast, like I'm there. But welcome, Kirah, astrologer and podcast host. How are you today?
Good. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so happy to be back.
I know.
It's been a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
We were trying to think. It's at least 2021 or early 2022.
Yeah.
Was the last time
something
that we
like
recorded.
I'm
been
pretty
a-
sure
it's
it
been a
was
minute.
late 2021, like
Yeah.
fall time frame.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
So a lot has changed.
A lot has changed.
Wait,
yeah.
tell us about this podcast. I know you had one before. Okay, are you starting a new one
it's
now?
the same like feed. So if you're subscribed to that one, it's the same feed, but I changed the name and sort of the format. I'm kind of like in a space where I'm like still figuring it out. I think I'm like playing around. Not as consistent as I want to be yet, but it's basically a weekly forecast.
Love that.
So I'm forecasting your whole week every day. And my forecasts are very like human based, I like to say. So I'm basically trying to say like, these are the best days of the week. Well, yeah, these are the best days of the week to like buy your groceries or to have a date. Like don't have a first date on this day. Like you can do Netflix and chill type of thing. Like things that like everyday things that you might want to know, like don't do that on Friday, do that on Tuesday instead.
Love that.
That's the type of like forecasting. And then I'm also doing advice. So I'm answering questions from listeners and
How fun.
yeah, doing their charts and stuff. And yeah, I'm playing around with it, but it's been fun.
I need to tune into it because I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I follow like a lot of astrology pages, a lot of astrologers. I feel like anytime I go on TikTok, it's just like
Astrology,
Yeah, at least the ones I trust, though. The ones I trust.
I haven't gone into astrology TikTok yet.
you
Not
know,
all of them are recommendable, but
Yeah.
most, if you find the good ones, yes.
I would say by
for
now
sure.
I know enough about astrology to know when they're like a good like source and when they're not.
And when
so.
it's not just like Aries, Libra, Aquarius, and Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Like, money is coming for you. That always kills me when I see those posts.
I know.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what
What
is
do
this
you
based
mean?
off of?
Exactly. Tell us what the transits are.
Show your work.
Show
Yes.
your work. Like they used to tell us in grade school.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a proponent of it.
But okay, so I know you reached out because you wanted to do an episode on the Venus retrograde, which is like perfectly in line because Nikki and I have been like, oh my God, we need to do an episode on this. So like the stars aligned.
Stars were
And-
like, let's make this happen. Because I have been, I would say following Venus. Oh, what?
You moved it that way.
Oh, I moved it. Am I better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways. Sorry. I feel like, well, when was the last Venus retrograde?
It was the end of 2022, right?
No, end of 2021
2021.
into
God.
2022. And that
Yes.
was in Capricorn, right?
Yes.
That was
That
brutal
was
for
tough.
me.
Conjunct Pluto, yeah.
That was brutal for me. So ever since that, I'm like, I got to pay more attention to Venus. And it's been all the Venusian transits this year that have been like the most, I would say, what's the word? Like the ones that stick out the most to me. So with this upcoming Venus retrograde, I've been like looking at like every single day of it almost, like what do I think is going to happen, or what is the energy going to do? Da, da, da. So yeah, I'm trying to think for our listeners. Venus in your chart represents love, money.
Yes, I don't look at it so
Beauty.
much as money, but a lot of people do.
What does Venus mean to you? Yeah.
So it's funny because for you guys, especially when you're saying like Venus is so impactful, you guys are turning 30 this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Venus for Aries and Scorpio risings, it literally rules the 7th house of relationship and partnership. So Venus is like doubly related to relationships when it comes to the Aries and Scorpio risings.
Good to know.
But in general, yes, Venus is the planet of relationships, partnerships, any sort of like bringing together of people. It's about like what we like, what we're attracted to, beauty,
Aesthetic.
exactly, design, art, music, everything in life that's like pleasurable, it rules pleasure, you know? It's the things that, the nice things in life, the sweet parts of life, that's all ruled by Venus.
Love that.
Yeah. So sex, love, romance, beauty, also just like socializing, like social. Venus retrograde very much affects social trends as well, social movements. Groups, like what brings groups of people together, basically.
I love that. And you can see Venus in the sky at night.
Yes,
She's
right now
close.
we can. Take advantage of it because like it's not going to be like that for much longer.
Really?
Because as we get closer and closer to Leo season, when the sun gets closer and closer to Venus, it will kind of disappear behind the sun. We won't be able to see it anymore
That makes me sad.
until it rises again as a morning star in the fall, and we'll see it in the morning before the sunrise.
Good to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's when it's called. That's when it's referred to as like a Lucifer star. That's what the term Lucifer comes from. It's like the light bringer, and it's actually referring to Venus rising before the sun and literally like bringing the sun up with it.
That's
as
beautiful.
it rises.
Oh, I love that. I never knew that. Okay.
It was really cool. Not long because right now Venus and Mars are conjunct in Leo.
Yeah, they're very close.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed the other day when the moon was in Leo, and so it was the three of them kind of grouped together in a little cluster in the sky. I was like walking somewhere and I stopped and looked and I was like, oh, and I was like, you can see it. It was so cute.
It's beautiful. It actually happened 8 years ago, the last Venus retrograde in Leo. We had Venus, Mars, and Jupiter all together.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe Mars wasn't there. I think it was Venus. It was Venus and Jupiter and Mercury. That's what it was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was in the morning. You could see it, and it was really beautiful. So yeah, it's like giving me flashbacks.
Love that.
What would you say is like your advice for Venus retrograde?
So you mentioned Mars is in Leo right now, and it's been in Leo for a couple, like maybe 6 weeks now, almost.
Yeah,
been a while.
sounds about right.
And it's going to leave soon. But Mars has been kind of like stirring up some stuff in Leo, making it extra hot in there. And now Venus is there, and they have this very like they do this thing, Mars and Venus, where when they're dancing around each other, and it kind of like builds up a lot of tension, lots of steaminess. It's kind of like stirring up a lot of scandal. There's so much fun celebrity scandal happening right now, just like little things. Even just thinking about the fight between like Zuckerberg and Elon right now with like threads.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought of that.
But especially like sex scandals, relationship scandals, like this Kiki Palmer thing's happening right now. I don't know if you guys saw that on Twitter.
Wait, no, what
what
was
is
that?
one?
Basically, her boyfriend / baby daddy, people are referring to him as her employee because he works for her.
Oh, wow.
But still, so he basically like retweeted a picture of her or a video of her at a Usher concert recently and was like, the outfit though, like you're a mom, and basically was like shaming her for what she was wearing on Twitter. Like,
What?
Yeah, like publicly. And then so people are obviously like getting on him about it. He's like, it's crazy how a man can't like want their woman to cover up, blah, blah, blah. And so people are like going in on him about it. And of course, they're like bringing up all these old tweets that he's like all these likes and basically showing that he's like an asshole in very many ways, a misogynist, all the things.
And
so,
Leo is a fame sign.
Yes, exactly. So celebrity stuff galore, celebrity
There was
scandal.
also the Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney thing.
Oh yeah, is that still a thing?
No, but that was like at the very beginning of Mars and Leo.
Okay, yeah.
And also the Vanderpump thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been keeping track of that. I mean, how about so Venus and Mars together are almost always, we get sex scandals, right? And also like perverted things too. And you guys know the whole Colleen Ballinger thing?
Explain.
You haven't heard about this? It's like all over TikTok and Twitter. It's this like YouTube star. I didn't know about her, but I think maybe you guys are like a little bit younger than me. I think it probably like a grade or two below you. They like when they became really YouTube obsessed, like kids did.
Yeah.
Some like edgelord type. I don't know. It's just like YouTube actress type
Personality,
singing
yeah.
personality. Colleen Ballinger, and she does this character Miranda sings, and it's basically like making fun of someone with like autism and like she has all this fucked up makeup, and basically it's coming out that it came out that she was grooming kids, like some of her fans, and from there like all this other shit came out.
Oh wow.
And she's on tour right now, which is crazy. She's like doing this character on tour, and like all this
shit.
past stuff about like racist stuff. Recently, I think just yesterday, there was a video of her in blackface doing the Single Ladies, like Beyonce Single Ladies dance. It's like
This
a
is a
never
hell of
ending
a
pile.
scandal,
Yes.
yeah.
And so Venus, Mars together, we usually get some scandal.
Interesting.
Especially because it's like this elongated transit of Venus and Leo, especially because they're in Leo, which is the sign having so much to do with visibility and popularity and fame. So yeah, like so much of that's happening in the lead up. I know I'm going to get to the whole advice part.
No, you're good. You're good. I want to hear it. I want to hear all of it.
So much drama to talk about. But yeah, so we have a lot of, and then there's a scandal happening in our personal lives. You know, I'm sure people out there, especially like the Aquarius risings that have Leo in their 7th house, and the Aries risings that have Leo in their 5th house of pleasure and sex and fun. The Leo rising, like so many people, there's stuff brewing. There has been stuff brewing, and especially like a tension between you and another, not really like it's a will they, won't they type of thing.
LMAO. I've been going through that. Yeah. I've had that with a few dudes actually.
Yes.
Like, am I actually going to see you?
Yeah.
Like,
I literally was like texting someone I was going to meet up with after this. And then I'm like, it's not going to work out. And I'm like, well, I'm going away for a week. And it's like, okay, will we keep this going? Like, is it literally will
is
they,
this a
won't
thing?
they?
Yeah.
Not to mention my barber. That's a whole nother thing. Who I saw earlier.
Okay.
And it's funny because it's like Leo, which is also a sign having to do with your hair. And like,
Yeah, big hair,
he's my barber. And we're having this whole will they, won't they? It's the whole thing. So, yeah.
I have a question because I have a lot of Gemini friends who I've been looking at their solar returns.
Okay.
And a lot of them have the Venus and Mars conjunct in their solar return
Right.
because of this transit. And before we get into all the Venus retrograde stuff, I'm curious for those solar return charts, what does it mean? I always looked at it as like, okay, a very active sex life for the next year, maybe a lot of tension in their sex life.
Well, here's the thing. Venus and Mars aren't going to actually conjunct. They will not conjoin in Leo. That's the issue.
Oh.
They are not actually meeting up again and forming an exact aspect until February of next year
Oh, wow. In what sign?
in Aquarius.
Ugh. That sounds...
It's not as hot and sexy.
It's
for
not
sure.
hot and sexy. No, that sounds weird.
But yeah, so they haven't met. They haven't had an exact aspect since March of this year. They had like a sextile. This is
Okay.
a rare year where we only get 3 exact aspects from Venus and Mars, and it all happened in like January, February, March.
Oh, wow.
And so right now it's just like this tension that's building that's like going to dissipate because Mars is going to keep going,
And
it's gonna,
Venus is gonna-
and Venus is going to stop and go backwards. So
So they're having their own will they, won't they thing.
exactly, yeah. And then you have to figure out: are you Venus? Are you Mars? You guys are both ruled by Mars.
Oh, yeah, we're Scorpio.
Very strong Mars. Being Aries risings, but yeah, Mars and Scorpio.
In the 8th house.
So you guys are probably the ones that are just going to be like, yeah, you go figure out your shit. I'm moving on to the next.
We're going to keep going. Yep.
Straight
And I
on.
don't, for all my Venus or Mars and Aquarius people, there's nothing wrong with that.
They're like, yeah, we're freaks. We don't care.
and I champion that. For me, that's in my 11th house.
Yeah.
It just doesn't bring me a lot of excitement, but it also just like Venus in Aquarius is always very like, we need to be friends first. And you got to prove to me that I'm actually going to like you.
Yeah.
So it's just the two coming together is going to be really
But
interesting.
it's going to be sexy when they're in Capricorn together, like moving. They'll be really close. They'll be building up. It's like going to be this tension
Oh, wow.
building.
Okay. Good to know.
And also 11th house is pretty nice. That's like, that could be like a friend of a friend introducing you, meeting someone at a party, that type of thing.
Okay.
Or like a
Maybe I need to have a better
colleague.
outlook for it.
Yeah.
Wait, when is
But I
this?
just don't want any
This is
tension.
February. of
February.
next
So
year.
a couple more months.
a couple, more
Six
than
more
a couple. Yeah. It's I guess 6 more months, huh?
So Mars is going to keep going into Virgo, and then Venus is going to
And
start.
Venus is gonna go retrograde on July 22nd.
Okay, I keep getting the dates wrong because when I looked at it and it was July 12th, and then I looked at it again and it was July 17th. And so
No, it's July. You might be looking at July 12th. Might have been
no, July 12th. Just kidding. July 12th was the nodes. I thought it was July 17th.
17th is the nodes.
Okay, I thought I saw someone say July 17th was the day that Venus went retrograde. Okay, 22nd.
There's
Gotcha.
the beginning of the week on the 17th. There's this Cancer new moon. The nodes are going to shift signs.
Mm-hmm.
Something else happens. I forget. July 20th. I'm telling everybody, just like, it's not a cute day.
Stay home.
July 20th?
It's the whole week is kind of shitty, but it's a Thursday. It's when Mars is going to oppose Saturn. So especially for you guys, the Martians, like, just take it easy. Don't
Let me see where
go too hard at the gym.
Oh yeah,
I'm writing that
that's
down.
conjunct our natal Chiron.
Stay home.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
You're like, ooh.
Just don't don't be like driving erratically, that type of shit.
Okay,
It's
so
the
don't
type
text
of-
and drive on July
Yeah.
20th.
Yeah, just like chill. It's just a very intense, like challenging, frustrating type of energy. But then on the 22nd, which is a Saturday, I believe Venus will go retrograde
Okay.
at the end of Leo, like 28 degrees. And basically just like pause. And so I think my main advice is to, if you're like an astrology girly, your houses and shit, look at the 2 houses that Venus rules in your chart, Taurus and Libra. Those are the areas of life that are going to be kind of like slowing down, pausing, up for review, up for change.
The 2nd and 7th for us?
Yeah, money and
Shit.
relationships for the Aries rising.
Yay! I don't need to slow down in that.
Boo. It's interesting. So the day that it stations retrograde, Mars is conjunct our
Wait,
Chiron.
Nicole, you keep moving away from
Sorry.
your microphone.
Okay, the day that it stations retrograde, it looks kind of fun if you ask me. Mars is conjunct our Chiron, and then Saturn is opposing our Chiron. The south node is conjunct our Jupiter, and then it's also a Libra moon, which we're Libra moons.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, and then Chiron is conjunct our rising. Fun.
Oh yeah, you guys are having that Chiron transit to your ascendant. Yeah, that's just happening all year. And while it's doing that, it's like opposing your moon and your sun.
It's been a lot.
Oh yeah, and isn't that that eclipse is on your birthday this year?
Oh my god. Yeah, 30th birthday, which is
That's huge.
which is a 7th
I
house
had that
perfection
too.
year. New moon in Libra conjunct our natal sun to the degree.
Yeah, it's an eclipse, not just a new moon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, new moon
It's a solar
eclipse.
eclipse.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, I don't know what's gonna happen that day, but
It's a biggie. I mean, I had a lunar eclipse on my 30th too, and it was a crazy fucking year.
Really?
It was a wild year. Yeah.
but like good wild.
I'm gonna look at you guys' solar return chart and we'll talk about it. But to talk about, this Venus retrograde.
Don't get
Yeah.
lip filler, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything too crazy appearance wise, especially if you're ruled by Venus, if you're a Taurus or Libra rising. I wouldn't do anything too crazy appearance wise. It's great to try stuff out. It's great for experimenting. It's great for a rebrand. Just know that like this is a 40 days, 40 nights thing. Like don't rush it because it needs to take time. And when it comes to relationships too, it could be like something as literal as your partner. I see this happen a lot. Partner is going away for a month and a half, and it's like literally like Venus is retrograde. Like they're just not there. So there's all the feelings that come up around like, oh, I'm lonely. But then there's also, Venus retrograde is a time to like really review relationships and your agreements, renegotiate things. See if like this is what you really like. Like, is this what I really want? Is this actually like bringing me pleasure? It's just a time where we're often really reflecting on our relationships and
What happens to our sex lives?
It depends. I mean, no.
Sex drive? Because I've been horny as fuck lately all
Mars
the
and
time.
Venus
Well, because it's
your
been in
fifth
our fifth house
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Mars. So
Yeah, I get it.
and Black Moon Lilith is in Leo too.
And it's also like trining your ascendant. There's a lot of that. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily going to slow down. I think it's just like, yeah, it depends on who you're fucking, honestly. It depends
So if
on
you're
like, the
fucking a Leo,
relationship.
they might have a little bit of a slowdown.
They could, or like, someone who's ruled by Venus, if you're getting very Venusian guys, like Libra,
So
Taurus.
Tauruses and Libras. What about the fire signs like Sagittarius and Aries?
Yeah, well, I think that there's just going to be a lot. That's the thing. I don't think there's necessarily going to be a slowdown, especially if you're like dating and out, and like people are going to be out here trying to hook up. Like I
Trying to
really
bang.
think
We all trying
everyone's
to
going to
fuck.
be everyone's going to be trying to like meet people, and it's just like approach with caution and approach slowly. Try not to rush into things because just know things are going to change. Like things are going to change.
As soon as that Venus station's direct, it's like,
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't mean it's like bad. It doesn't mean it's not going to last, because there's often a lot of relationships that start under Venus retrogrades. But know that the Venus retrograde is part of your relationship cycle. So if you're getting married during this retrograde, if you're meeting someone during this retrograde, every 8 years when Venus is retrograde in Leo, it's going to be a significant moment in the relationship.
we have
for better or worse.
I have two friends.
we have
getting
two friends
married.
getting married.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
one July 2nd and the other one
No,
August-
July 22nd.
Sorry, yeah, July 22nd. The other one August 5th.
On the day of the retrograde.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot.
they're both Libras.
No way.
Yeah, they're both Libras.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, this is, I would ask them like what was happening in 2015, the summer of 2015 for them and for everyone, because that was the last time Venus was retrograde in Leo.
Okay.
And then the summer of 2007 before that as well.
I had just gotten married the summer after 2015.
I was depressed.
Yeah.
So two completely different energies. But yeah, I got married right before the summer of 2015.
Okay.
And Cammie was depressed. I do remember that. And then
I was
actually the summer
deep into depression.
the summer of 2015, I started my job at Textron, where I had like a very successful career, brought me a
Okay.
lot of money.
Cool.
And I had just gotten married. So right before that Venus retrograde, I had a lot of really big things happen.
Yeah. So this could be a major, like,
A lot
it's
of-
basically like a cycle coming back around.
I was going to say a lot of big things that ended recently,
Yeah.
right before.
Making room. Making room.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Making room. That's a great way to
Making
put
room
it.
for
Yeah.
Love
things.
that.
Yeah. So that's kind of my main advice. And yeah, again, aesthetics, like design, all that stuff, like know that it's going to take the duration of the retrograde before things are coming to completion, or you're going to feel good about, the final version, I guess. I'm thinking, because I'm working on a dating app right now, actually.
Love that.
And we're like in the middle of design, the UX UI, and I'm like, keep telling the founder, like, it's going to take a little time, but stars aligned. Keep an eye out for it. It's going to be a great dating app, using astrology to match.
Thank God.
Oh, we
Yeah.
I'm
love
tired of
astrology.
telling men on Bumble, what sign are you? Okay, we're not compatible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
we'll do the work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How long is a retrograde? That's what.
The Venus retrograde is like a month and a half, 40 days, 40 nights. But Mercury is typically about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Mars is about 2 months.
Oh my God, the Mars retrograde in Gemini.
Oh, that was
Fucking brutal, man.
So bad.
I never want to go
barely
through that
sur-
again.
When will it retrograde in Gemini again? Because
I
will-
forget, but it does happen again.
No, I know it's gonna happen again, but like I'm just because it was the Venus retrograde in Capricorn, and I was like, that fucking sucked. And then Mars in Gemini, it was like maybe 8-9 months later, and I'm like, never mind, that actually
That
sucked.
sucked, yeah.
So
I
it
mean,
was-
Mars, it's hard because when you're ruled by Mars, especially.
That's why it is so.
Yeah, because you're
And it was on our
forced to
south
slow
node.
down. Yeah, it sucks.
It was
sucks.
a lot of energy.
It was
But I will say this:
eye opening to say the least.
retrogrades, Mercury. No,
Wait, Mercury is also retrograding soon, though, right?
In a month after Venus starts. So like August 23rd, I think it starts.
So they're both retrograde together for a little bit, like a week and a half.
There'll be like a crossover. So Venus goes July 22nd till September 3rd. And then Mercury is August 23rd till September 15th. So it's like halfway through September, we'll be like in the clear.
Dope. Thank God.
Yeah.
At least for me, retrogrades have always been a time where if there was a decision that I was on the fence about, and this is how I always, because I feel like for anyone that's like into astrology, retrogrades are always like, oh my God, well, what's going to happen? And it's always been for me, if there was a decision that I was on the fence about, I came to the conclusion during the retrograde.
Yeah.
That's always kind of been the pattern for me. For example, like when Venus went retrograde, when was that? Yeah, when Venus went retrograde last week in Capricorn, that was like when my ex-husband and I had made like our decision or whatever. When Mars went retrograde was when I decided about my leaving my job and like when I was going to leave and all of that. And so it always tends to be like a time when I'm like, okay, I go back and I rethink it, and then like usually towards the end I'm like, I know which way I'm going to go, and then I set my objectives or whatever and move forward. So that's kind of how it's been for me.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. There's the Venus or all the retrogrades have sort of these like moments of clarity, especially the Mercury and Venus, and that's when the planet comes into alignment with the sun. And there's sort of these like turning point moments within the retrograde. So with Venus, it's like the moment it goes retrograde, it's like very far away from the sun.
But then it gets...
And then so I think now it's probably as far away. It's around the point of max elongation, which means it's like as far away as it can be from the sun before it starts to like come closer and they moving back towards each other. So then when they come into that exact alignment, which is called Kazemi, that happens on Sunday, August 13th this year. And it's always a really special day, this like when the sun and Venus come together, because it's like Venus at the closest point to the Earth because it's like between the sun and Earth. And yeah, it's always really special. So mark your calendars for that day. It's a good day for a date.
I'm doing that right now. August.
Wait, what is it?
August 13th. It's a Sunday.
It's a good day for what?
I mean, any sort of Venus stuff. So like, a
good
date,
Venus day.
Sex, food, gathering, just like being...
Good day for sex magic?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because also that's the point where Venus's cycle restarts. So it has like about a year and a half cycle with the sun. And it restarts during that period.
Okay, so August 13th, guys.
We have Dom Dalla on the 12th.
Yep. Make sure you're manifesting during your orgasms on August 13th.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's my biggest advice.
I love it. And then the special one that comes up, the Mars Kazemi, which is just getting ahead, but I'll tell you guys, it's my birthday this year. It's like sometime between the November 17th or 18th, but it's in Scorpio, so it's a pretty special one this year.
Oh wait, November.
It's like I don't know if it happens exactly on the 17th or 18th. It might be like late on the 17th or earlier on the 18th.
I'm gonna look it up. November.
Ooh, what's a good what should we do that day? I'm putting it in my calendar.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, November 17th. That's conjunct our natal Pluto.
Yeah, I like a sauna. I like like hot yoga, something like hot and cleansing,
Love that.
Go to Wee Spa. Okay. Hot.
Oh, have you been to Wee Spa?
I haven't been yet.
Oh,
I'm down to go with you guys.
Oh, yes.
I can't go on this day because I'll be in New York launching the app, but I think we're launching on my birthday. So
that's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, that's really exciting.
I didn't know that. I'm trying to think in our solar return for this year, it was just after the Kazemi of, if I remember correctly, the sun and Venus. So I remember in our solar return they were like super close. It was
they were really close.
It was near the Kazemi.
Yeah, I think the Kazemi happened at like 29 degrees. That's right. It happened like 2 weeks after, but they were traveling really close together.
Yeah,
the whole time.
They were nearing the Kazemi.
Yeah. Okay, and you had this. Gosh, what a chart.
Oh, for our 29th solar return?
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
29th solar return was pretty interesting.
Yeah, do you know how much we fought those first?
That moon
The moon
and Mars
Mars.
conjunct in Gemini, brutal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brutal.
I never want to do that again.
This is so wild. Okay. And you guys live separately still?
No, together.
You live together now? Okay, cool. And are you gonna stay where you're at?
We're
We've been
hoping
trying
to
to
move.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know it said it was a good year for moving.
I think so, yeah. This upcoming year, like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Wait, what else does our 30th solar return say?
Yeah, it's on this it just looks like there's a lot of fourth house energy. There's a lot of like energy down in the lower part because it's a Cancer rising chart.
Mm-hmm.
So it brings your fourth house to the forefront. And then it's also like everything in Libra, this solar eclipse in Libra is in the fourth house of the chart.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also Mars on the IC. So it's just very, very fourth house centric. It's interesting because it's a Venus year.
The 30th is?
Yeah, it's your seventh house year.
Oh, so it's a Venus year. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
What does that mean? Is one of us getting married?
Potentially, but I mean, are either of you guys engaged?
That's why I'm like,
No.
I don't think so.
I'm like,
but
fourth house, are we building families?
it just
like,
looks like
wrap it up.
It definitely looks like a move. It definitely looks like a big, like it's a big year.
Could still be something big in relationships, like towards marriage.
Yeah,
Ooh, okay.
It's
Like
definitely
meeting someone, yeah.
it's a huge year, and then
Jupiter and
it almost
Uranus
feels like-
conjunct.
Are you guys?
Oh, I know. They're 10 degrees apart.
Are you guys thinking about moving neighborhoods?
Yeah,
Probably.
we wanted to move more west side.
Yeah, where are you guys now?
Hollywood, literally 5
Oh,
minutes
okay.
from here.
So you want to go even more west? To me, this is west side. Is
Oh,
this
really?
not?
Oh,
I'm
because
This is west
you're
side?
east.
I'm
east.
literally east of the 110.
Yeah. You're east. No, yeah, more west side, like west, like Venice,
Okay.
that area. Yeah,
Yeah, because it feels like a change in neighborhood.
love that.
It just feels like a big change.
oh,
love that. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I have a
I
question.
would like a nice big house. Thank you,
So,
universe.
for any of our astrologer listeners, if you've done a composite chart with your boo,
Oh yeah.
for example, do like what's your take on the Venus retrograde in Leo on the composite? For example, there is someone that I miss dearly, who I
Okay.
broke up with, but I miss him dearly. And our composite chart has a stellium in Leo.
Okay.
All the personal planets, Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, and
Wow.
Mars,
Oh
all
my
in
God.
Leo. So I'm like, what's that going to look like when Venus transiting retrogrades over all of that?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I would imagine that there's going to be something else that comes up for you guys. Are you not to oh shit, I just realized. Okay. Yeah, this retrograde's so loud because not only is it just like stationing retrograde in your fifth house, it's going to station direct at 12 degrees Leo, which happens to be exactly square your Mars,
Oh, our natal Mars.
your natal Mars, which is to me like shows that this is about like it's very relational, and it does feel like in the end there is like a conclusion or like a coming. I don't want to say coming together but it's Venus like coming back to like directly aspect you know, like because you are Mars. So Venus is the other person, and you guys are like you're gonna keep going, go into Virgo, into Libra, whatever. And Venus is like going retrograde, stopping in early September at 12 degrees, being like, "Hey, I'm back." So
Here we are.
I'm
Is it
really
karmic?
interesting. I think it could be. I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but
Right
yeah.
as the node starts raking across our
Yeah, that's
our
the other
Libra
thing.
stellium,
So it's gonna hit your Jupiter pretty early on.
and then the sun, and then the moon by
Yeah.
next May.
Yeah, but then you're also getting like the North Node in your first house. You're getting these like eclipses in your first house, which is also just a lot of energy coming towards you, building you up. Yeah,
A lot going on.
there's a lot going on.
And that's what I've been feeling. I'm like, I've just like felt
The calm
like this
before the storm,
Yeah,
yeah.
this
Yeah.
like you know, no, I don't want to say tension, but just this like buildup of like, okay, some big things are about to happen.
Yeah.
And like, I feel that.
Exactly.
And I've been getting really excited though. So I'm over here like, wait, do I need to worry about anything? I don't think I do. I think it's all going to be good things.
Yeah, I think you just have to like, I think the potential for getting really wrapped up, falling deep, like just falling almost too hard is there. That would be my... That would be my...
You are talking to a hopeless romantic.
You're talking to a person that has anxious attachment style and does that all the time.
I see your Venus. I know.
Yeah,
I can see the Venus. And you guys have Venus in Virgo in this position that it's like, yeah, very much like... love me because I have so much love to give, and I'm just like looking for someone to pour into and pour back into me. Like it is like the most hopeless romantic
sign. No, I feel that. And it's funny because like with all the Scorpio energy that we have, we're very like, you know, I feel like I
fall in love with my birth chart more and more every day.
Oh, I love that.
Same. Yeah. No, it's true because like I look at like our Aries and our Libra, and our Aries and Libra is very much like we just want freedom and openness and like flowingness. And then we have our Virgo, Venus, and our Scorpio, Mars and Mercury that are like, we want to get deep. And like now.
Yeah. It is very much like that. It's like we want to get below the surface. We want to figure out what's underneath. But yeah.
So for Venus and Scorpio people, this is going to square theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, all the fixed signs.
The fixed signs are not going to, because then it's going to oppose Aquarius, and Venus and Taurus is going to be, Venus and Taurus might have it rough. Well, they're Venusian ruled, and then it's squaring.
Yeah, I mean, all the Venusians are gonna feel this retrograde for sure. I mean, including you guys, especially because it is so relationship oriented for you. And then moving into your 7th house year is really exciting. It's gonna be a big year. Like, it's a big year for you guys.
What's your Venus?
I'll take it.
Libra.
Oh,
yeah, it's very close to your moon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Venus and Libra. Wait, so for you, that's gonna... Oh, it'll trine it.
Yeah.
It'll trine it.
It's not really... I'm in a Venus year right now. It's like you guys are moving into your 7th house Libra year. I'm currently in my 8th house Libra year, which is where my Venus is. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be... I'm expecting to... It's already starting.
It's already starting.
It's already here. Yeah. Part of it is like jury duty, you know, like it's so Venus and Libra.
Libra does rule justice.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get jury
The
duty?
law.
No.
Yeah, hopefully not.
I know.
Hopefully just, you know, some really nice partnerships.
Yeah,
some nice contracts coming our way.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. The reason I say that it's that you guys might fall really like, and it's the type of thing where it can't warn you. If you're going to fall, you're going to fall. Right. Okay. But Neptune is hanging out in Pisces opposite your Venus.
Oh, I know that, girl. Yeah. It doesn't get out of there till like 2025.
Yeah. And it's so it's gonna just be kind of hanging out there, mystifying your Venus from Pisces, and
it's been there for a while.
It's been there for a while, but it's
now it's
closer.
like directly opposed.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's there.
So just
is that
a
good thing?
It's good for, I think, like being in the space of like love, like pure love, bliss, romance, fantasy, like kind of allowing yourself to go there. It's the hard part is when you have to come back to earth and remember that, like, you know,
love is hard.
Yeah. And that like reality exists and it's not all like
rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about with the nodes? Because you were talking about the patterns and how I thought about how like before the last Venus retrograde in Leo was like when I got my job and got married, I was like, that was also around the time that the North Node was in Libra.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, because I looked recently, and when I got married in 2015 was the year that the North Node was transiting my moon in Libra.
Was that 2015?
Is that right? Yeah.
I I mean, it was there for like a year and a half. So
Yeah, it was a year and a half. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought that was 2017.
No,
that was, I'm
2015.
thinking about Jupiter and Libra. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Cause yeah, my friend, yeah. But anyway, I do remember that time, and
That does bring me to a question. What is your on the nodes? Because I've been
Yeah.
studying the nodes a lot. I've grown fascinated with the nodes, especially when I noticed that like every time something was transiting Gemini or South Node, it was like fucking brutal, man.
Yeah,
So I
it's
was
a
like,
lot.
all right, I'm gonna start paying more attention to them. And then I realized I was like, when I, for example, when I met my husband, the North Node was conjunct my North Node, along
You were like
with
19, 20.
yeah, 18, 19,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
And then whenever I got married, the North Node was on my moon. And then, or transiting my moon and I guess my sun, because they're kind of close together. And then, so that was all North Node stuff. And then whenever him and I started our divorce process was when the South Node was, like, it kind of started when the South Node was on top of my North Node, but then once it was kind of leaving that sign, that's when it all really started.
Nodal reversal.
Yeah, so a little reversal. And then now it's going to be the South Node in Libra. And I'm like, I don't know what will happen, but it's just like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I'm like, I found it fascinating when I was looking at all of that. And I'm like, well, what does that mean now that it's going to be the South Node instead of the North Node?
Yeah.
Because they're both karmic.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the way I look at the nodes is sort of like, excuse me, these, like, I think of patterning a lot. So, especially when we're talking about natally, like the South Node being the patterning that we just sort of like come into this lifetime with. It's sort of encoded already. And the North Node being the patterning that our souls are trying to experience and like, experience in this lifetime and sort of encode. And so when we have these nodal transits, the North Node is essentially the idea of increase. And I think of it almost like I think of it always like a cattle prod or something, or like this electrical like impulse where it just like speeds things up and like, yeah, it increases things. It's related to the head of the dragon when we talk about Joy Tish and kind of where a lot of the mythology of the nodes come from. Mm-hmm. So the North Node's like the head of the dragon, which wants to just like eat and consume, and it kind of can never be satisfied. And the South Node would be the tail of the dragon, which expels and basically shuts things out. And it's all about like releasing and purging. And so when we're thinking about the North Node going to your first house, that's like an increase when it comes to your body, your physical form, your appearance, and just like your identity. And oftentimes when people have these like North Node eclipses and in the first house and things happening in the first, you're just like coming into yourself in a new way. And it's a lot of like these identity, like not changes necessarily, but yeah, I guess changes, like becoming more authentic, I guess. And then the South Node does a lot of like letting go, purging, lots of like
Undoing the negative patterns.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of that. And you kind of just get these opportunities to like, yeah, let things go. I like to think of it as refining, like it's not letting go of everything. It's not like you're flushing all relationships down the toilet, but you're refining it. So it's like whatever is meant to stay, it's going to stay in like a better, more purified form or something like that.
I love that. So I'm trying to think, for people that are, 35-ish?
Yeah.
You're going to have your
nodal
return. Because those people have the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra.
Yeah.
But then for people that are 27-ish,
Yeah.
they're going to be having the nodal opposition.
Exactly. I call it the nodal reversal, which is a crazy time. I mean, I'm not surprised it's when the divorce, like you started to go through that, because it's literally when like your life kind of flips. You kind of get this opportunity to like change direction.
Well, it's kind of a doozy for anyone that's about to go through that, because you're going to have a Venus retrograde right as the nodes switch.
Yeah.
So that Venus
ruling
retrograde
the
is
south
gonna
node.
yeah. So that Venus retrograde is gonna come in and be like, you know what, you need to rethink some things, and then then you're gonna be like, okay, great, I've rethought it, and then the nodes are gonna be like, great, well now it's time for all the fucking lessons.
Clean up crew. Yeah.
And then Saturn comes in 2 years later.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
No, we don't want to talk about Saturn. But okay,
We love Saturn.
Saturn
Yeah,
and
we
Aries, I
love
think,
you.
is going to be interesting.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about it yet. We don't have to go there.
Hey, Daddy.
We just got into Pisces.
That's true. Yeah, let's enjoy Pisces.
Yeah.
Okay, any final words for Venus in Venus retrograde in Leo before we let
just yeah.
journal? Maybe I think it's a good time to journal.
It's never a bad thing to offer.
Yeah.
Journal and think back to 2015 because those are a lot of the same themes. It's not gonna be the same. Saturn was doing some crazy shit in 2015, so it's not gonna be like that necessarily. Oh, we didn't talk about this, but during this whole retrograde, we have Venus squaring Uranus and Jupiter. So it's a lot of like...
Oh, that's right, because they're in Taurus.
Yeah, so it's a lot of Venus square Jupiter is like, I want more, give me more pleasure, more fun. Venus square Uranus is like...
Volatile.
Yeah, it's just like breakups, honestly. I think there's going to be a lot of breaking up, getting back together this retrograde. Like I see someone just a really quick story, because this happened to me last night, and there was like the moon opposite Venus square Uranus.
Oh, wow.
And I have that natally.
Oh.
So I went out with this guy like 2 weeks ago. We had a great time. We were both like, yeah, we definitely want to see each other again. He goes away for a week, comes back. Hey, let's hang out. Like, can we hang out next week? I'm like, yes. We set a date. He's like, I'm going to plan it. I'm like, dope. I'm stoked. It's supposed to be tomorrow. Last night he texted me, hey, Kirah. So I just want to let you know, like, I have actually been seeing someone and we decided to be monogamous. So I won't be going out with you. And he's like, we were on a break when we went on a date. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
there's Uranus. Yep.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, this is the astrology, like Venus square Uranus. But also, terrible time to enter into a monogamous relationship, in my opinion. Like, not the best time during a Venus square Uranus transit, but we'll see. I'm like very much waiting to see if and when he'll come back. Be like, that didn't work out. Do you want to hang out again? Because it's just like there's no way that, yeah. As someone with Venus square Uranus, like, it's not a monogamy signature. It's not necessarily.
Oh, that's good to know.
Well, keep us posted because I want to know what happens.
I want to know what happens.
If in 2 months from now he's like, yeah, let's hang out again, I want to know.
I really want to know, like, if any exes are coming back during this
I'm
retrograde.
sure you're gonna get hit up, and it might not be who you're thinking. It might be someone, replying to one of your stories where you're like, I haven't even thought about you for years,
yeah.
or like you run into somebody, who knows, but I'm sure you'll see someone at like one of these weddings or something where you're going to be like,
oh, I'll see my ex-husband.
There you go. So
that'll be fun.
yeah,
It's going to be fun, guys. Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up and know that there's just stuff to learn from this.
Yeah.
So like, let it ride out.
Yeah. Let it ride out and then reflect on it.
Yeah.
I love these conversations. We need to do more of these because
Yeah,
they fill
around.
my soul.
Yeah.
You're welcome on anytime.
Anytime.
Thanks.
Seriously. But yeah, so plug yourself.
Sure.
Where can people find you?
I'm at the astrology on Instagram and Threads because I'm on Threads now.
I think we are too.
I was big on Twitter, so I'm excited about Threads. I'm at Kirah World on Twitter. My website, Kirah.world, easy. And I have a podcast right now. It's called Cosmic Guidance for All.
Love that.
It's eventually going to be called Astrology That Hits. I need to do this rebrand throughout the retrograde. It's going to happen.
I
but-
love
like Astrology That Hits
so
yeah,
much.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah, so Astrology That Hits, Cosmic Guidance for All. You can find it on YouTube. I do weekly, like week ahead forecasts. They're really, really practical and grounded and useful. So I'm just giving you good info, basically.
I love them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll put everything in the show notes as well so people can find you.
Awesome.
But thanks for joining us.
Thanks
This was
for
so
having
fun.
me.
I loved it.
I know part of our listeners are astrologers or astrology girlies, and then the other are probably
Even
like,
if they don't
"What
know,
the
they're like, I
fuck?"
just love hearing about
I
it.
hope so.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful Venus retrograde. And just remember to enjoy these next few months, okay? Be slutty if you want to. But wear condoms. So wrap it up.
Protect yourself.
Yes.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Bye.